Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the channel. Like and subscribe and leave your comments, whether positive or negative. Much love and much praise to everybody out there. This here is Live Conversations number 209. Live Conversation number 209. We'll be here talking about a so-called pastor. Keyword, so-called, keywords. So-called pastor who was arrested again, was also a registered sex offender out of Mobile, Alabama, by the name of Cederick McMillian. First and foremost, here's my disclaimer: I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. I'm just a brother here on his live conversations. You know what I mean? That's self-explanatory. Live conversations. You understand that? I'm not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement guidelines in reference to YouTube or in general. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody who's in the chat room thus far. Shout out to Marva. What up, Craig Giselle, aka Simply Behold, Georgina Flemings, one of the channel moderators out there. Shout out to the other YouTube channel moderator. Call me Bless, aka Jackie. What's up to Tasha and Bless? So, you know what? What up, King George? What up? What up? So, I was reading this story, about this so called pastor by the name of Cedrick McMillian. You know what I'm saying? They say he was a registered sex offender. He's accused of working at a daycare. Listen, a so called pastor, so I'm pretty sure the church that he was pastoring at, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they ran a background check on him. You understand that? That's the dangers of putting a person like that in a leadership position. So he was working at a daycare. Now, as a registered sex offender, as he was, he knew he couldn't work at a place like that, a daycare, a school, a library. What I mean, something like that. Even a truck driver depends, because some truck drivers we deliver to schools and whatnot, recreational centers. So a registered sex offender has to be very careful where he chooses to apply at. You understand that? Even McDonald's. You understand that? He got to be very careful. He better be an overnight construction worker or something like that. You know what I mean? So, and he said he was accused of being too close also at Mobile County Public School. This happened recently, very recent. You know what I mean? So they say he was being too close to two Mobile County public schools while preaching. A registered sex offender, and he was a pastor at that. This is unbelievable. I can't make this up. Look it up. I can't make this stuff up. What up, Lisa B? What up, Cynthia Davenport? Sister Davis? What up? What up? What up? So Mobile, Alabama. That ring a bell because you got a false prophet out there who always talking nonsense, you know, always talking nonsense. But we're gonna get back to that. You understand? So he's charged with 4 counts of violating the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act. You know what I mean? They said he's a former funeral home operator. He's accused of corpse abuse. Mm. corpse corpse abuse. How you gonna be charged with abusing a corpse, a dead body? You got to be a sick person, and operate in an illegal cemetery. You know what I mean? So the sheriff department says tips from the public led to his latest arrest. You know what I mean? Someone dropped off a church flyer that placed him within 2,000 feet of a school. So the man, or any type of sex offender, of course, depending on the state judge, and some might have 1,000 feet within a school. But in this case, this scenario, in the state of Alabama, in that county, it was 2,000 feet of a school. You understand? So it says investigators say by being at New Birth Community Church, he was too close to a school called John Will Elementary. And by being at Forward Church Ministries, he was too close to another middle school. I mean, he should have known that. You understand? He should listen. He should have known that. But then again, as we stated on the other lives, a lot of these creeps got hidden agendas. You understand? Um, Devon said another pastor. It's a whole bunch of these pastors that have been arrested, man. It's a whole bunch. It's like a different story every week. Excuse me, a different person every week. Every week. You understand? Every week. And I missed out on a lot of these stories. I'm getting back to them though. Um, Danella says, I am from Mobile, Alabama. I remember that story. What you talking about? The first story about him? What up, Quanta B? Said that report says that is sick and evil. Absolutely. King George says that's nasty. Having sex with dead people. Well, if that's what he did, I don't know. They just said abuse to a corpse. But I did hear stories where as though some sick people would try to have intercourse with dead people, which is crazy. Um, Bridget Brown says, "How you doing, Tony? May God continue to bless you. Stay focused. Watch as well as pray. Pray for me as well. Much love. Much love to you too. You know, you said love you. Much love to you too for sure. I'm doing good. I'm just maintaining on his live." Corey Finney says, "I just saw a pastor rape a 14-year-old girl, then preach at home at a home going service, and he was a registered sex offender in Macon, Georgia." Latanya, Cederick McMillian. I don't know if you see the title in the YouTube section where the main title is. Simply Behold says, not only is that sick, but what is sicker may be the rich and powerful who get away with it as well along all what is that as well as altogether sick. Well, you're right. Another Baron says, I know of a story of a pastor in Mobile raping his daughter. Wow, that's crazy. And I want to say this to all those false prophets out there in Mobile, Alabama, who always talk about what's going on this YouTube channel. They know what I'm talking about. All the members at that so-called church, what is it, Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ or something like that? That church is stationed in Mobile, Alabama. I know they got some people listening. Their members always coming here, some of their members. Why is it that you talk so much about what's going on this channel, you know what I'm saying, but you got cases like this in Mobile, Alabama that you don't even touch? You got a bunch of sick people out there, sick so-called preachers out there in your area, your neighborhood, in your backyard. Why don't you touch on that? You understand that? Focus more on your own home than just a brother who's from New Jersey. You so concerned about a brother from New Jersey versus these sick, creeps in your area and Mobile, Alabama. You understand that? All right. Corey Finney says, once I find out his name, I'll let you know. Appreciate that. Carter Sharp says, this brother was into a, what is that? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Forgive me. You know what I mean? So David says, and they used the ministry to hide behind, thinking they wouldn't be suspected because they are affiliated with the church. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. What up? What up, Henluck? Henluck tuning in from Alaska. What up? Shout out to Alaska. For sure. So reading more on the story, you know what I mean? Somebody said, I guess the sheriff of that town says, we don't know why he feels like the laws don't apply to him. And you know what I mean? I guess people feel so big and up to par that, you know, just because they got the title pastor, that certain things don't apply to them at the end of the day. And I mean, he got to understand that if you are a registered sex offender, and let's just say you did repent, let's just say you did get right, you still have to follow those guidelines, you know, when you register as a sex offender. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to get arrested. It don't matter if you say, listen, I repented, I received the Holy Ghost and stuff like that. Listen, you still got to abide by the laws. You know what I mean? You still do at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So basically what they're saying, you know, he's in jail and whatnot and things like that. So McMillan's his aunt, his aunt says, his own aunt says he's in jail with no bond because of talking about the goodness of Jesus. You know what I mean? His aunt is Janine Jackson. Janine Jackson, a woman preacher. Mm. They said Jackson is also a pastor at New Birth Community Church. They should arrest her too. They should arrest her too. You understand? And it says they didn't know he couldn't. It says they didn't know he couldn't be at the church. Listen, you are a woman preacher. You're a woman preacher. How you don't know that he couldn't be in a church? How you didn't know that? How you anybody with common sense know that a registered sex offender can't be near kids? Simple. In a lot of cases, their own kids. This dumb woman preacher just said that in a news article on NBC 15 News. She said, they didn't know. You didn't know. Dumb. That's just dumb right there. You understand? That's dumb. Let's go to these comments, man. What up, Chanel Courtney? Danella says there is one in Mobile that was, I believe, under Pastor Geno Jennings. I don't know if that's the church is still functioning. Yes, that is the gremlins that I was referring to. Those are the gremlins that I'm referring to. You know, what up, Spears? What up, Georgia Berry? What up, Mr. X? What up? Mr. X says God is exposing these false churches. Latanya says she should be arrested also because she is as guilty. Absolutely. Absolutely. She knew. And a lot of those members in those churches, they know what's going on. They know what's going on. You understand that? Listen, I don't care if it's my relative. Listen, if you're doing something like that, you will be exposed. Simple. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? This platform is to expose people like that. You know what I mean? But you got preachers in that same area who want to talk about other stuff versus the real factors, what's going on in their own hometown, Mobile, Alabama. So that's the preacher man who I'm talking about, with those who mention that name, who always got something to say. People who write him letters. Write letters to him about this. Don't write him letters about the biblical discussion. Don't write him letters about Tony Harvin YouTube channel. Write him letters about what's going on in his community. You know what I'm saying? Focus on what's going on in Mobile, Alabama, like that. You understand? When you got creeps touching on kids and whatnot. But you want to be so concerned what's going on YouTube channels and whatnot and stuff like that. Focus on what's going on in your own hometown. Because it could have been your child. It could have been your grandchild or your great grandchild or your nephew or your niece. You feel me? So focus on that problem. All right. Okay. Let's see. So he was working at a daycare. How a registered sex offender? How he get a job at a daycare? How? They didn't run his background check? You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to run that sex offenders check, especially if you're a supervisor or a manager or even the owner of the daycare. You're supposed to run those things upon teachers and everybody who's working there. You understand? I don't care if you're cleaning the windows for 2 minutes a day at a daycare. You got to run that, man. You got to run that. You know, in my opinion, they probably said, well, he's a pastor, woo, XYZ, blah, 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 we're going to hire him. Now look, everybody try to cover themselves like his aunt and whatnot. You understand? That's crazy. All right? Bless says, please, no woman preachers. Keeping it real, Liz. What up? Spears says McMillian is going about it all wrong in the concept of prison ministry. Sister David says, I hope he knows his witness is hindered if he is in jail preaching about Jesus, falling on deaf ears. Actions speak louder than words. What up, Phyllis Jones? Peace and blessings to you too. JT says, what up, what up, what up? For sure, appreciate that. What up, MHW? Craig says, I bring up a great point. Why argue in jealousy over someone's YouTube channel when this stuff is going on in your own neighborhood? Absolutely. I know some of his members is listening. I know they are. They come here. Tell him that. Sure, I might write an email to him about this. You understand? It's crazy. All right. So David says someone once said, may the life I live speak for me. Whether good or bad, you control your own reputation and how people perceive you. Pastor Peas. What up, what up? Kind of name is that though? Pastor Peas. What up, Will? What up, what up, what up? So back to the story. All right. Now, let me see. What else they said about this creep? They said the sheriff officer says he's listed as the vice president. The vice president of a daycare? What? And signed paperwork last year that indicates he is employed there. Jackson is adamant McMillian never comes to the daycare, nor does he work there. She lying? You see what his aunt said? There's paperwork that states that he's the vice president of the daycare. Now his aunt trying to cover it all up, say he ain't even show up there. The family says his name is just on a piece of paper. Really? Really? So why did he become a registered sex offender then? The first time. Why? But you just said that you didn't know that he couldn't be in the church or whatever the case may be. You didn't know that. Now you're trying to cover up for him again. You understand that? If the man is a creep, he's a creep. It doesn't matter if he's your relative or he's your blood. He's a creep. Simple. You know what I'm saying? If I had a cousin or something like that, that's a creep. I had a cousin on Facebook. I think it was like 2-3 years ago. And he was hitting people up. And next thing you know, you saw all these people talking about him. When I see him on the street, when I see him outside, I cross the street. I get away from him. Creep. A creep. Simple as that. If he got creep habits, he's a creep. And my cousin did have creep habits. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Listen, brother, stay away from me. I don't want to be around you. For real. Leave me alone. I ain't got nothing for you. I don't want to hang out. Don't text me. You're blocked on Facebook. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's see. She said, these are bogus charges, and whoever hates him so much just trying to destroy his name. Really? The man is a registered sex offender, right? Who was 2,000 feet from a school. He broke the law. How is somebody trying to ruin his name, destroy his name when he broke the law? You understand? All right. It says they're not only hurting Cedrick, they're hurting people of new birth. Huh? He said they're hurting my mother. Really? The man is a registered sex offender. He hurt himself first and foremost. And it said, and it really truly saddens me. All we want to do is proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ, said Jackson, his aunt. Well, how about you proclaim Jesus by telling the truth and throwing him out the church? How about that? And stepping down from your title, number one. How about you do that? You understand? The man is a pedophile. Simple as that. All right? McMillian got in trouble public several years ago when, as a funeral director, he was charged with corpse abuse in the sheriff's office exhumed bodies at an illegal cemetery. Prior to that, in 2012, McMillian was convicted of sex abuse and sodomy. The victim was 14 years old. Sodomy. Now, people could be forgiven. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right. It says, Burt says they're still investigating new charges. They said we do want to know if there was any contact with children, said Birch. McMillian is due in Mobile County District Court Tuesday morning for a bond hearing. The corpse abuse charges against him are still pending. So he had previous charges on him. On top of these charges. I don't get it. I don't get it. Listen, what part doesn't his aunt understand? Janine Jackson. What part don't you understand? The man is a pedophile. Simple. You understand? Mr. X says that's a demon. He said that's a demon. Wow. And you know what? What up? I said what up, Will Magwood. And a lot of other churches is like this. You understand that? A lot of other churches are like this. And people who are not in the church and whatnot, or who don't know the differentiation of, denominations and religions and whatnot, when they see a story like this, they're like, man, I ain't going to church. All these churches are like this. All these churches was like this. They'll say something like that. Way back when, it was the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? With these priests and whatnot. Be honest, we blame all the Catholic churches. All of them. Now, people see this. Now they're going to blame all the churches associated with, like, the good book, the scriptures. Striving in holiness and righteousness and whatnot. All right? So definitely got to clear that up. Stuff like that, we ain't with. You know what I mean? Cynthia Davenport says he only went to jail for a year. Corey Finney says, I think it's in 2nd Ezra 7-56. They considered not that they should be judged after death. Stacey Starr, what up? King George says, I really don't understand why some men mess with little girls when you have, geek monsters out here that is willing to have with you just for $10. He said $10. $10. Wow. You got to understand. Some people's minds are just sick, man. Just sick. So David says, what else they can say about this creep? That's funny. That is funny. What up, Jen Juice? What up? Hope all is well, for sure. Conscience has been seared. They serve the idol, which is the flesh and the blood body, being numb to the spirit of God, void to him, said Simply Behold, a.k.a. Craig. What up, Donna Woods? What up, Kimura John? What up? Pork and chop. Pork and chop. He said, sound like somebody promoting prostitution. He said $10. $10. That's crazy. But back to the story at hand. All right, I think that was it about him that they wrote. But it's a lot of churches out there that's hiding stuff like this. It's a lot. Like I said before, if I hear about it, if I see the story, if y'all know a situation like this, listen, let me know, man. I'll expose it. I don't listen. I don't care who it is. Listen, I don't care if it's my blood brother. I will expose it. You understand? Because there should be no way at all. And the dumb members like his aunt trying to justify him, trying to prove his innocence and whatnot, huh? You trying to prove the man innocence that he didn't do anything, that you didn't know? Listen, I hope she's listening. I hope she is. You understand? All right. Fleming says this father was sexually abusing his own child in the church bathroom. I'm a one guard man, says Brother Tony. That so-called elder have his broadcast put up on the same radio station that the TLG is on down in Jamaica. Well, I don't even pay those people no mind, to be honest with you, man. You understand? I don't pay them no mind, but look at this situation happening in their own hometown, but they rarely touch on stuff like this. You understand? They rarely touch on stuff like this. Cederick says, yeah, good point. People would blame churches for one man's poor discussing actions, but if people do acts like that at work, they don't say nothing. They keep going to work, making money. Jen Ju says, what up? You say you good? You're forgiven. Somebody's, he said $10 bogus. He said, how does he know it's only $10? Listen, I don't know nothing about all that. You understand? I ain't trying to violate no community guidelines. I don't want the po-po looking at this channel. Listen, the person was just making an example. That's it. He was just making an example of like why these so-called grown men would rather touch on little kids. You understand that? Risking it all, whereas though you could go to Vegas or something like that, whereas though prostitution is legal. You understand? And get whatever. He's making an explanation on it. He's not promoting prostitution. He's just like why they would have a mindset of a child. You know what I mean? In a sense of, is it that hard to get a woman? If that's the case, then why don't you go out there and do this or do that? Be patient. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of, if you want to do it the right way, be patient for a woman. You know what I mean? You see a woman on Facebook, you see a woman in the supermarket, listen. You know what I mean? Shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand a sick-minded person of going after a child. I don't get it, man. Me personally, I don't get it at all. You understand? I don't get it at all myself. But I understood what a person says, of course it's not $10. He was just making an example. You know what I mean? He said, how do you know it's $10? How does he know it's $10? Oh man, listen, times is hard. Times is hard out there. I know ain't no chick out there giving up for no $10. They ain't doing that. You understand? I'm pretty sure they ain't doing that. When rent this high, they ain't doing that. But back to the story at hand. Fleming says, parents, please don't trust your children at summer camps. Wow, that's a deep one right there. Latanya says law enforcement authorities accuse him of sexually touching and having with a girl when she was 14 years old in 2007. Wow. Man, that just, listen, I got daughters. I got young daughters. You understand? And that just made me rub my chops together. You understand? That just made me rub my chops together. Crack these knuckles, crack those knee bones. And it's like I wish You don't want it to happen. You hope it don't happen. You understand? You don't want to be put in a position where as though you might take a life yourself. You don't want to be put in a position like that. Of course, those guys in prison and jail, they don't like people like that. You know what I mean? But to a father who's a protector to his children, whether they got daughters and sons, which I have both, if I find out something like that happens, listen, y'all might be reading about me on the news. You understand? Pulverizing that person, pulverizing them. Simple. You understand? That's just me. May the Lord forgive me for that action. You know what I mean? No problem. At King George. Jinju says, that's why, as an only child, my mother never allowed me to have sleepovers, and now I understand why. Be it family or friends, scary. You're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. X says, if it ain't true holiness, it ain't right. MHW says, yes, they are, even for a sandwich. Listen, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about that $10 for a sandwich type thing. I don't know. You understand? I don't know. You know what I mean? Let me see. Pork and Chop says, Tony, what did you think about the discussion yesterday? That was funny. It was funny. It was funny. You know, what did I think? Smoking cigarettes, it has no benefits. Like I believe Georgina Flemings asked that question yesterday. It has no benefits. But when he mentioned boxing and stuff like that, he clarified himself that if you're just working out and whatnot, there are benefits. Smoking cigarettes has no benefits at all. At the end of the day, smoking cigarettes damages your body. This is something that damages your body. People will use the example, while certain foods damages your body. That's true. You understand? Water can damage your body. You understand? A lot of vitamins can damage your body. A lot of medicine can damage your body at the end of the day. But even smoking cigarettes has no benefits to it at all. Water has benefits. What's so good about smoking a cigarette? About putting nicotine and all those chemicals in your lungs, in your stream. It doesn't make you healthy. You understand? And they mentioned that cocaine and those other drugs make you want to kill and whatnot. So by you saying that smoking cigarettes doesn't make you want to kill, that serves as a benefit on his end. That's how I took it as. But smoking cigarettes in general has no benefits at all. Some people say smoking cigarettes calms them down. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. So that's what I think about. That's what I thought about the discussion yesterday. Ginger said, I don't want to see you on Snap documentary or Death Row. PTS says some of these lames do crimes because they cannot get handouts in the real world. In prison, they get freedom, room, board, and meals, and showers. No homelessness necessary. Too much of anything is bad for you except walking with the Creator. The only one thing we need an abundance of. Absolutely. Absolutely. You understand? Sister Davis says cigarette smoking is addictive. People crave them. I never understood cigarette smoking. I mean, it stinks. It browns your teeth. It makes your breath stink. It be in your pores if you smoke so much. I've been around people who smoke cigarettes. They ain't even smoking cigarettes. You would just smell it in their pores, and it stink. Their breath stink. You understand? It smells bad at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So smoking cigarettes is terrible. I can't stand the scent to smoking cigarettes at all. All right? So we talked about the story about this so-called pastor, Cederick McMillian, a registered sex offender who was arrested yet again. You know what I mean? We explained it in the beginning. People had their comments about this story. Um, PTSD Talk says cigarette smoke is for some is equivalent to inhale exhale factor that lowers stress. Well, guess what? I mean, you taking in something to lower stress, but yet you damaging a part of your body. I don't get it. So you rather damage your body to lower stress? You're still damaging your body. You know what I'm saying? When people told me that it calms them down and stuff like that, but you're still damaging your body. You know what I mean? You still is. All right. Jinju says, "What about a little wine for upset stomach? A small glass." Well, what is taught that a little wine, a little wine. You understand? A little wine. You know what I mean? What book is that in? I believe it's in 1 Timothy 5:23, right? It says a little wine for your stomach and often infirmities and stuff like that. I believe it's in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 23. It speaks upon that, and I think Gino told him. I think I got a video up about that. You know, he said just a little. He said just a little bit, just a touch, just a tip of your tongue to touch that wine, and that's it. Something like that. Because some people have a glass, a big glass. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. I don't drink to get drunkenness or stuff like that. I don't smoke. Never done a drug in my life. You understand? All right. Mr. Dave says, "Me too. I have worked with mental patients that would get into fights over cigarette withdrawals. It's all still at the end of the day." Craig Giselle says, "Meditating on the word of God and having a vision that serves God and providing service to others is just as common." Absolutely. Absolutely. Keeping it real says, "You can drink if it is for a medical reason, but otherwise it is a no." Which falls in the category of, often infirmities. You know what I'm saying? It falls in that category. If you have an often infirmity, some people may get sick every day. You understand? But some people may use that as an excuse to keep drinking wine every day, all day. Donna Wood says, "About enough wine as a gnat eyelash." He said, "Pastor Gino." That's funny. Okay. Pork and chop. Yo, that's a funny name. That's a catchy name for YouTube. Pork and chop. That's a catchy name right there. See a name like that? That's a catchy name. She says, "Why did Tommy Ingram said he had no respect for you for letting certain people back on the platform?" Well, Tony Harvin don't care about none of that stuff, man. I'm doing my thing. We putting out the live conversations, we're putting out the biblical discussions, we're putting out the True God videos, we're putting out news. Then we got the second YouTube channel with truck driving, exercising, health and wellness, the making of the YouTube True God videos on there on that second YouTube channel. We're broadcasting the True of God on dailymotion.com, rumble.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You understand? So I don't got no time to be worrying about stuff like that. I'll be too busy on top of having kids, on top of working. You understand? On top of going to the gym, on top of running track. You know what I mean? I'll be too busy to worry about people like that and their comments and whatnot. I'll be too busy, man. I may throw a jab, little uppercut at people sometimes, but for the most part, I don't be concerned about, talks like that, man. At the end of the day, I'll be too busy. You know what I'm saying? My sole purpose is to help people out. They could talk this, they could talk that about this YouTube channel, but at the end of the day, I still would give them advice. I still would pray for them and whatnot. I got no hate. I don't got no ill feelings for nobody at the end of the day. You understand? I'm gonna keep doing my thing on here. This channel is growing. The other channel is growing, and other things is growing and stuff like that. So I just got to keep staying focused, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Staying focused. We're gonna keep putting out this good content, and people gonna have things they got to say. But at the end of the day, listen, still love them. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. You still got to forgive them, according to Matthew, I believe, chapter 6, under the Our Father which art in heaven prayer, verses 14 and 15, about forgiveness. Still got to forgive them. Have no malice or no grudge in your heart and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I'm good. I don't go to bed thinking about these people. I go to bed thinking about that alarm that's going to go off 4 o'clock in the morning, that I don't want to get up for work. You understand? But I don't think about these people. You know what I'm saying? We doing good on this channel. You know what I mean? Stay consistent. Stay putting out good content. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. So they can say what they want, man, at the end of the day. And we're going to keep doing our thing on here, man, for sure. All right? What up, Kevin? What up? Adrian Color says, I believe that the little one is talking about medication for these days which are in NyQuil, just like its servant. Be obedient to your masters. These days is talking about your employer. Well, NyQuil. I took NyQuil before, years ago, and NyQuil is not good for me. You understand? It just does something to my nerves and whatnot. So the alcohol that's in NyQuil and whatnot is actually stronger than what's in regular red wine. That's at like Jewish stores and whatnot, because a lot of those wines is made from natural grapes. What's in NyQuil, what's in Robitussin and stuff like that, and things like that, you know what I mean? It's other chemicals in that also. You understand? So, but you know what I mean? If a wine is made straight from grapes and things like that, that's more natural. So let me know what you think about that. The NyQuil with chemicals in it versus the wine that's more so made from natural grapes and what have you. You understand? All right. Mr. X says, I support you, brother. Your videos has helped me more than you can imagine. Appreciate that. No problem, man. Thanks for tuning in to this YouTube channel. Much love and much respect to you, Mr. Exclusive. Sherry Naber says, keep pointing people to the truth of God. Have a blessed day, brother. Appreciate that for sure. Juan Garcia says, amen. I have not went back and forth, which seemed like a long time. Glory to God. All right. Juju said, lowriders love your channel. They can't stay away. Oh, man. Listen. If you don't like me, why listen? I believe a bishop said this last week, and shout out to him. Bishop Bailey, you know what I mean? He said, if you don't like, and he's from another church in the truth of God. He said, if you don't like me, why are you looking at me? If you don't like a person, why are you looking at them at the end of the day? And that was truth. That was truth right there. If you don't like me, why are you looking at me? You know what I mean? All right. Craig says, Tony, if you're able to do in-person live debates, that will be groundbreaking. Either way, it's great to discuss the Bible and bring awareness. Good stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, it's got to be with calm people. We're talking about calm people, because I don't want to be in the middle and two people is about to get it on, because I'm going to have to get it on with them. You understand? They got to get it on with me. You know what I mean? Come together to have a biblical discussion. Nice and easy. Not to get in each other's face and whatnot. You know what I mean? We're trying to keep it nice and peaceful. But there's a few select people that you can have a in-person live discussion. Few, very few. You understand? Very, very few people you can do that to. Very. All right? Blessing Holly Favor said, thank you for sharing the truth of God. We need more brothers like you. Love from the South. Appreciate that. Much love back to you too. All right. Mr. X says, he that sick, let him call on the elders of the church, not that bottle of NyQuil. Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. Jinju says, exactly. If I don't like what's on the TV, I switch channels. Absolutely. What up, Terry Fulford? All right, we're gonna end this live, man. We're about to end this live. I appreciate everybody for coming on this live, man. Talking about the situation with this so-called pastor and what have you. We also talked about the debate that happened the other day upon smoking cigarettes. Bond servant. He says, please let me debate biblically with embracing every day on salvation. Well, I'll let him know. I'll let him know. Pork and Chop says, would you ever have discussion on here about current events and how it relates to the Bible? Current events. What do you mean? Like the stuff that's going on in the Ukraine and whatnot and things like that? I believe that a God sent preacher should talk about things like that. That's why I always say in the beginning, I don't hold none of those titles. You know what I mean? Because those preachers, who got the gift of prophecy and stuff like that, you know what I mean? They know better than I do. You understand that? So that's why I'm a humble person, not to touch on certain things. If God didn't give it to me, I'm not going to touch on it. You understand? All right? Politics, I don't do politics too much. I don't even like politics, to be honest with you. Sister David says, God bless you. And everyone, as always, great discussion for sure. Appreciate that at Fleming's. All right. We're going to end this live, man. I don't know when the next biblical discussion, but I do know that more True God videos is coming out on here, more live discussions, and more things upon the news and whatnot in reference to titles like in situations like this to warn the people. You know what I'm saying? To warn the people. So I hope everybody have a wonderful night, have a wonderful dinner, and it's the top of the work week tomorrow for me. And it's almost like as soon as you lay down and go to sleep, 5 minutes later, the alarm is going off at 4 a.m. I don't like that. But work is work, man. All right? Good night to everybody. May you all have a blessed day. I'm out. Peace.